So I was born in Korea, but my family moved to the U.S. when I was 2 years old. And so we've been here for 49 years plus. I grew up mostly in Los Angeles and some in the San Fernando Valley. Most of my family went to church since I was really young. But like many people, I was just a churchgoer. And then when I was 15, I went to a retreat, and that's when I accepted Christ personally. Obviously, the gospel meant everything. It meant that I was no longer bound by my sins or defined by my sins. It meant that I was no longer just part of my own family, but that also I was part of God's family and the extended family through the church, and through having my relationship with God as a foundation it gave me so much stability and so much hope, and it really defined a lot of who I am. So we started coming to All Nations in April of 2011. We had been part of a church group that met primarily in Torrance for about 13 years. That church dissolved, but we decided to come and check it out for ourselves, and yeah, we've never left. Yeah, when we first started coming to All Nations, at the time we were the English ministry, and it was predominantly college students. I would say it was probably at least 75-80% college students. In the time that we've been here, though, we've definitely seen a great growth in the family ministry, which has been a blessing. It's just the whole process has been really exciting. We've gone through definitely some ups and downs. We've had some difficulties and struggles as well, both individually and as a church, but all throughout, God's hand has been upon us, and we've seen now, especially in the last several years, this growth where the gospel is being definitely proclaimed. Our strength is not in the numbers, whether we grow any more or whether we shrink in numbers or whatever it may be, but it's definitely in the fact that we have a strong foundation in the gospel, and in loving one another, and in ministering and caring for one another, and praying for one another through the community groups and now the accountability groups. We're really making an impact in the lives of people in a personal way. And so the encouragement is seeing how this ministry has been growing in terms of our ability to outreach and to care for one another and to meet one another's needs and to grow. And there's very much, in my mind, there's very much a sense that we are one body, one family, and that we're on this journey together. And that's a really great thing. Ever since I became a Christian, there's always been a desire and a willingness to serve. And so whatever capacity that God and the church calls me to serve, that's how I want to serve. In any group, when there's a large number, there are going to be people who are kind of not necessarily plugged in. And it's our responsibility as deacons and as elders to make sure that we reach out to those who may not feel immediately welcomed, or who may not feel immediately a sense of home, a sense of family. And so it's our obligation and duty to make sure that they are cared for, that they know that they have a place here where they can grow and learn and love and be loved. And so if we do continue to grow in numbers, it's going to be important for us to make sure that we are still very personal in our relationships, that we are still very personal in our ministry, in our philosophies, in our outreach, in our events, to make sure that everyone who wants to be cared for receives the care and the support that they need. To the extent that God has placed us here to be the salt and to be the light, it just doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen passively. There has to be a measure of we want to go out. We want to make an impact. We want to actively seek opportunities to minister and to care for others around us. And so I think in that sense, the church has done a very good job of being able to reach out and show God's love to those around us.